Because let me tell you, there's nothing that pisses me off more than seeing one of these First Amendment auditors absolutely destroy a cop.
The drones over there in New Jersey.
People are just dogging on the guy, and he deserves it.
Cops can have egos and stuff like that, and if you want to make this job super easy, get rid of your ego.
Oh, just obey everything a cop says because they're never wrong. Like, no.
Yeah. No.
Let's get this right. Cops can be wrong. What is up? It's Brian and Gurney here, and welcome to another episode of the Badge Banter Podcast.
Episode 2.
Yes, sir, where we talk about the who's who and the what's what in law enforcement.
That's right. And today we're going to jump into all type of stuff. One thing I wanted to talk about, you weren't real too happy to talk about, was the drones over there in New Jersey.
Yeah.
I think it's crazy. I've had a lot of people ask me about it.
I mean, it's the government doing government things. They're not going to admit to it. We already know what's going on.
I had a lot of people be all like, you're the police. You should know what's going on.
Oh, yeah, my bad.
Yeah. I'm a cop in Kansas, my man.
There's been no drones flying over this county.
You could tell me, I don't believe for a second that their law enforcement doesn't know what's going on. I feel like we would.
I don't know. There's a lot of things. If it is like, I don't know.
You don't think if there was a big issue like 50 drones flying around the county that the sheriff wanted?
I doubt it.
Be all like, we should probably figure this out.
He'd want to figure it out. Probably won't have any clue what's actually going on. Yeah. I mean, for everyone to say that it's not them and everyone to like push it off. Government not taking claim to it. I mean, obviously someone owns the drones. Russia's not coming over with drones.
Yeah, I seen somebody say it was like a media outlet came out and said it's a mixture of stars, personal drones, media drones, and unmanned or manned aircraft or something like that. I can't remember. I'm all like, how could you throw stars in there, bro?
Why is this star flying around my town?
Why is there a star around here with the green and red lights?
Yeah.
That just don't make no sense to me. But I don't know. It's a mystery. Mystery that probably won't be solved.
Yeah, I mean,
what really is going on though? Like, what do you think's going on? I haven't even really looked into.
I don't know. I mean, like I said, I have absolutely no clue. I don't live in New Jersey. I'm not too worried about it. You can take off your tinfoil hat and we can move forward.
I just had so many people asking me, bro. I'm so curious. I haven't looked into it that much. But hey, I guess we'll probably know someday. But I don't know, Brian. We had a question. Somebody asked us, what type of gear? What was it? What type of gear do we prefer or use, or what's the best gear? Something like that. I got a question for you. What is the most useless piece of gear you think
we use? Useless?
That like you could any brand you could get, like it wouldn't really matter. Like you could go to Walmart and get it or something. I don't know. Because obviously your sidearm is important. Right. Your holster is important.
Right.
Your vest is important. To me, I think I'll have to go with probably just the duty belt.
Nah.
I feel like you could get a cheap duty belt.
You can get a cheap duty belt.
It's okay. That's all I've ever gotten. I mean,
there's good duty belts.
But yeah, there's really good duty belts.
The more you pay, the better they are.
Yeah.
Whether it's on your hips or whatever. I don't know. I feel like really most of my equipment that I've got on me, like vest and belt, I mean, you pay for the quality. I think overall, a pen. I think outside of that, really.
Yeah, that's true.
You pay for the quality.
Pen, a notepad. I don't know. I'm trying to think of something you'd wear.
Maybe like handcuffs. Because you don't really need quality handcuffs. I mean, as long as they're not getting broke.
Yeah. Well, the thing with handcuffs, I think, like every brand that makes actual handcuffs, like they'll get the job.
Right. Yeah, that's what I mean.
Like as long as you're not
obviously you can't go to Walmart and get them, but
if you're not buying, the certain type of handcuffs, you should be fine.
Right.
Like plastic ones or something like that. So yeah, I think if you're really looking handcuffs, that's a good one, are probably most universal. Any good brand out there you could probably get and be fine with.
Mm-hmm.
Anything after that's probably personal preference. Like I
Yeah, I'd
prefer.
agree.
Which ones do you prefer? Like if you had to choose,
Asp.
Asp.
I like my Asp cuffs.
Do you use chain? You use chain.
Mm-hmm.
I like the good old regular Smith and Wessons.
I prefer my Asp.
I have a pair. Well, actually, I think they're
Probably.
somebody's old pair. The gray,
Probably.
that gray pair.
Oh yeah.
I like Smith and Wessons. I've always used Smith and Wessons. I don't know what it is. The originality, the old
Feel
schoolness,
like an
the
old
chain.
cowboy.
Yeah, there's something
Wild,
about it. They're
wild
so
west.
flexible. Do you think you would use hinged handcuffs on the road,
I've got a pair. I mean, I keep them in my duty bag, but
like as a backup or
yeah, I
something?
keep 2 on my vest, and then I got 2 in my duty bag and 1 in my glove box.
Yeah, I don't. I think hinged handcuffs are good for
They're better for
jails,
like transport.
transports.
Because I mean, if you really get into it, like something goes down on the side of the road, you get into a fight. It's a lot harder to manipulate them. You know.
Yeah, I've had a lot of people ask me that. What do you prefer, hinged or chain? I like chain because they're way easier to control, to move around.
Right.
Yeah, hinged handcuffs, you only have so much flexibility with them. I mean, imagine trying to cuff somebody up that's fighting you on the ground
Mm-hmm.
with a pair of hinged handcuffs. Everybody's gonna hate you.
Yeah.
But yeah, I like Smith and Wesson. Asp is a good brand. I can't really think of another brand, but I know there's another one I can't think of off the top of my head. Anyways, but yeah, duty belt. I don't even really know duty belt brands really. I have people asking me. That's probably a really big question too. People come in my DMs and ask, "What type of duty belt should I get?"
Right.
I'm like, I don't even know. I don't even know where I got
See,
mine.
I like the ones like the buckle that I have.
Oh yeah, the metal one.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like those.
Which that belt was cheap, and I mean it works, but you can tell it was cheap.
Yeah, I think if I had to pick one, I would prefer one that is stiff. You know, like the ones where you can hold it with your gear on and it doesn't like bend down or
Right.
something like that. I would prefer that. But the one I have, I know for a fact is cheap.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I got it at the local, where we went to go get our gear. I didn't even get it online, so I have no idea what the brand is. And then when we worked for DOC, they gave us cheap, probably wholesale duty
Yeah.
belts.
Yeah, they probably paid $100 for 50 pair
But I
or
used that
50
one,
belts.
the duty belt. I think I only used two in the 6 years I was there. Like one of them lasted for probably 4 years. Because you're really not, I mean, putting that much wear and tear on a duty belt besides just taking it on and off. Law enforcement on the road, you probably are a lot more because you're getting in and out of cars,
Right.
possibly on the ground, pulling your sidearm out, which is putting, the holster is going to be rubbing up against it. I don't know, the equipment. Equipment's important. I seen something today on Instagram, the mic loop. I thought about getting. It's like a little Velcro thing you hook to Velcro.
Yeah.
You seen that?
Mm-hmm.
That looked pretty cool. I might have to get that. And somebody sent me the ID Guardian the other day.
That thing's pretty cool.
Yeah.
I won't lie about that. That is pretty cool.
So the
You know how many
ID.
times
Oh
I've
yeah,
dropped
dude.
driver's license and stuff
I
between
drop it
me.
all the time. So that
Or if
thing's
it
coming useful.
Yeah, I mean the cage that I have for the dog, there's like a probably like a 4-inch gap, and if I drop something, it slides under there. It's so hard to fish it out.
I remember when, yeah, which this wasn't too long ago, but when we were both on a traffic stop,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
we were both on a traffic stop. He pulled somebody outside the county, like outside the city, just a little bit. So
Mm-hmm.
I went and backed him up, and you were already at the window by the time you
Yeah,
got
I did a
there.
passenger approach, and I realized who the two people were.
Yeah, because we know, well,
Yeah,
know of them.
and then I asked for the ID. I was getting ready to run my dog, so The
Which is why I was there.
He wanted to just keep talking and talking and talking. And so I didn't want to be rude and just walk away. So Gurney's on the other side, on the driver's side. I already have the driver's license. So I tried sliding it across the hood so he'd go run it, you know?
Yeah, I was all like, we kind of made eye contact with each other. And I'm all like, you know, gave him the look. Yeah, just slide it over. I got you. And
it didn't go.
I think it was like, well, okay, look, I'm pretty sure the roof of the car was at least wet or something. Because I think it was mist in there.
I think it was also your fault not catching it. But
it came at me pretty quick.
I slid it across the roof of this car. And it just like was, I didn't see it. I turned around immediately. And then I hear, oh.
It was so funny, bro. It's like, I watched it in slow motion, just like go across the roof of the car, down the back of the windshield, into the trunk.
Talk about extending the stop. Like, how do you explain that one?
I just looked up at Brian like, oh no. And then, I don't even remember what you did. I think you just kept talking.
Mm-hmm.
And I went to the driver and I was all like, hey.
No, at that point, we had already known who it was. So I just went back to my unit and told him who I was out with, since I didn't have the ID or the driver's license number to run it anymore.
Yeah, that was hilarious. We did get it, though. I just nonchalantly, sometimes the best thing to do is to ask. Hey, tell the truth. Hey,
we
dropped your driver's license into your trunk. Can you open it for me? And, which is weird because it's like, you can't really go in there to like, search it or like grab it.
Illegally search their car just because you're trying to get the driver's license.
Oh, look at that. Pound of dope.
They gave it to me when I asked, and then we screwed up and lost it. It was a question I posed in the Discord the other day.
Hold on. Okay, we're back. We had a cut. Camera stopped recording for some reason. We're back. Anyways, Brian, go ahead.
Anyways, I had a question that I posed in the Discord the other day about how civilians and citizens can better understand their rights. Because let me tell you, there's nothing that pisses me off more than seeing one of these First Amendment auditors absolutely destroy a cop, make them look so stupid. And and then you see all the comments, like people are just dogging on the guy, and he deserves it. Some of these dudes make the profession, like make all cops look like idiots.
That's like being a firefighter and not knowing how to put out a fire. It's literally part of the job.
You've got to know how to respect people's rights. And
I'm not saying
you can really do whatever you want as long as you're not violating someone's rights.
Well, not whatever you want, but pretty. Yeah,
for the most part, like, don't violate someone's rights, and you're good to go.
People's rights, and I see it all the time. I see so many of those videos. It's ridiculous.
Yeah,
it's like it's an easy ask. It's not like people are asking you to know every single section and ordinance and statute, and literally just know the basics.
Yeah, obviously there's things that obviously a lot of the public seem to not really know. Like if an officer asks you to exit your vehicle, you have to ask, or you have to exit.
Yeah.
Pennsylvania versus Mims. The Supreme Court's already ruled on it. If you're asked to step out of your vehicle during a lawful traffic stop, you have to get out.
Yeah.
Now, if you get stopped on the side of the road, you're just walking down the street, and a cop doesn't like how you look, and they pull up to you and say, "Give me your ID." Look into your state, because most states you do not have to provide that. And then that's where the big problems come in. They're like, no, I'm not, the auditor obviously knows what he's talking about. He's like, I'm not going to give it to you. What's your reasonable articulable suspicion?
Yeah. And these cops have to know
that
the guy is coming up challenging them, who does this probably for a job.
Right. It's so sad.
What the hell they're talking about.
It is so sad to see the guys that are supposed to be.
You can't be in this parking lot.
Yeah.
It's a public parking lot, man.
Or you're not allowed to record me.
And I get it. Like, sometimes cops can have egos and stuff like that. And if you want to make this job super easy, get rid of your ego.
Right.
Get rid of your ego, and this job will be so easy. Yeah, it's ridiculous. It really is ridiculous.
Dude, there's nothing that makes me more frustrated than seeing someone seeing those videos.
And the biggest piece of advice I can give for civilians, if you don't know your rights, or maybe you think you do or whatever, and the cop's giving you a hard time, that's what court's for.
Right.
That's what court's for.
Yeah, someone asked, so if a cop's violating my rights, can I just fight him? I'm like, no,
Yeah, no,
let's not do that. But take it up with court afterwards. If it's to the point where you feel like it's not safe for you, just comply with it. I'm not saying it's right of them to do, obviously, but we've seen how things can escalate in those situations. So just comply with it and then sue them later.
Yeah.
Own the department. That's the best thing
You
you
know
can
how
do.
many times people win lawsuits like that? Because contrary to belief, the judge doesn't care about us if we're in the wrong.
Contrary.
What did I say?
Popular to contrary belief.
Popular to contrary to belief. Yeah. Regardless, the judge doesn't necessarily. He cares about us. He cares about everybody. That's why they're the judge. They're going to do what's right for most of the time. I'm not saying there's not corrupt judges and stuff, but for the most part, the judge is going to give a fair ruling.
Right.
And if we're in the wrong, most definitely we are going to be told we're in the wrong.
Yeah, that'll be dealt with accordingly. I mean, dude, that just, I hate it. I hate seeing those videos just because I'm like,
it's embarrassing. Honestly, it's embarrassing. It sucks because when you see any type of media post, not just First Amendment stuff, but of other cops doing just the dumbest shit, and you're just all like, well, how do you not? Well, why did you do that?
Part of the problem that I've seen is like half the commenters are like, oh, this cop's terrible. Police don't know this or that. And then the other half are like, oh, just obey everything a cop says because they're never wrong. Like, no.
Yeah. No.
Let's get this right. Or, cops can be wrong and they're wrong a lot more often than we'd like to admit to.
Yeah. That's where the ego comes in. But there's been multiple times where, especially, first starting or something like that. Even now, we're still pretty new, and I'm not going to sit here and say I'm an experienced veteran. I still learn and stuff like that. But that's the difference between maybe us and some other cops. Is, we take the time to learn and to try to.
I would exercise my right. If I got stopped and let's say they asked to search my vehicle or something, I know that I have nothing in there. But you're not searching my car, man. If you need to identify me and I've done nothing wrong, I don't feel comfortable giving you my identification. You're infringing on my rights for zero reason.
Yeah, that's the thing.
And I know a lot of people don't agree with that. A lot of people are one side or the other. But
America, my cops.
Yeah.
Which, at the end of the day, if you just do whatever the cop says, most likely it's going to be a pretty smooth encounter. But at the end of the day, also, we all have rights. And
and most of the time,
you should know what your rights are, and you should. Now, don't take it past the point. Obviously, if you see things are going to escalate, we don't want anybody getting injured, cop or civilian. And, so don't push it. But at the end of the day, you should know your rights. And that's what court's for. You know your rights. You know that cop's taking you wrong. You know that just let them keep doing it. Okay. All right. Well, and I'm going to take you to court, man. I'm going to sue you.
Yeah. I mean, and if some of these officers, one good lawsuit, they're going to learn real quick how to respect people's rights and not violate.
Yeah.
I mean, there's so many trainings out there that people are just bypassing because it's not.
A lot of these times, these lawyers will take these cases for free because they know they're going to win, and they'll just take a percentage.
I mean, they're cut and dry.
Yeah, so it's I mean, I would do the same thing. Like, you're not getting into my car. What reason you have?
That's one thing I will.
Don't give consent, and I've actually told people that I pulled over. They'll give me consent, or if whatever, I'll search the vehicle afterwards. I'll be like, hey. Like, you realize you didn't have to do that, right?
Well, yeah, I always, tell them, hey, I'm asking for consent to search the vehicle. You can decide at any time to not give me consent and not allow me to search the vehicle.
Yeah, it's just like,
I don't want to make them feel coerced or anything like that. But I mean, that's one thing I challenge like other law enforcement officers do is take these legal issues in traffic stops and citizen rights and all these things. Take those trainings. Like, it might not be as fun. It might be a little more boring being in the classroom.
It'll make you look like less of a fool. Though.
Right. You're not working on pitting someone out or shooting or whatever it is. But it's going to help a lot more than most other trainings that you ever take.
Yeah, and then because you have a real difference between being a quote-unquote street goon or whatever, cops like to call themselves.
Those jump out boys
or whatever. which is cool if you want to do that stuff. But there's a right way. You could 100% do interdiction, do all that stuff legally and the right way.
Right. And when you
without
do it that
being
way,
put on the news, without being put on, at the very most, don't ever break the law. Break policy if you want to. If you think you can push the boundaries and get, your department's policy and you won't get fired, okay. Like if you're going to go 20 miles over the speed limit, go into emergency instead of 15 with your red and blues on, that's up to you. But when it comes to rights and the law and stuff like that, just do it and you'll be fine.
I mean, it's as simple as that.
It really is.
Just get educated on it. Both sides, law enforcement and civilians. Be educated on your rights. Be educated on what you can and can't do in your interactions with the public or with law enforcement, and everything will be gravy.
I think there's a very fine line into what makes a good cop, and it's like right in between. You got cops that don't do really anything, like don't write tickets, don't really be pulling people over. They're just making themselves known or whatever, which is doing the job, I guess,
Oh, man.
But, and then you got people like the jump out boys who be doing a bunch of stuff. And I think like a good mixture of both is good as long as you know your stuff.
There was a comment on one of your last videos, and someone said, what do you say? He's like, new cops are on TikTok, and they're not writing tickets like real police work. And I'm like, bro, like, okay, I get it. Like, no cop should be on TikTok their entire shift. But if your definition of policing is writing tickets all day, you're not in this for the right thing. Like, there's so much more that you could be focused on than just, like, I get it. Speed enforcement, tickets, those things are necessary.
Yeah.
But that is not the definition of policing.
Yeah, like I will refuse to work for a department that makes you have a
quota or something. Right.
Because to me that's just not right. I don't care if there's so many other ways you can gauge performance. And that's what they do, when people are like, well, why is there cops at the end of the month? Yeah, it's illegal to have quotas, but departments get around it and use this loophole, oh, we're not saying you have to get that much, but we're using that as performance. If you don't get as much as your peers or whatever,
isn't your quota, just know that
everybody else is getting 50 tickets a month. Yeah, then you're not doing it. When there's so many factors during just one shift that could cause you to, a robbery, a theft, a battery, a domestic, maybe you're just patrolling. What's wrong with just patrolling sometimes?
Go out and stop those burglaries and robberies from happening. Your presence alone in those areas. Go stop and talk to some members of the community.
Yeah. And that's what a lot of people don't realize policing is. It's not just about catching people with dope and stuff like that's great. And obviously you're getting bad guys off the road. But a big part of policing is public relations. You're not just there to catch bad guys. You're also there to make the public feel safe. And
right.
Like
go talk to some dude that, go talk to the local homeless guy. Maybe you start talking to him. Maybe every now and then you grab him a pack of smokes or something and just sit and chop it up with him. Who knows? Maybe later on down the road, you're going to need him. He's got information for you that can help.
Oh, hey, man. Also, this one guy stopped, talked to me, asking if I wanted to buy a dime. You know what I'm saying? Like,
stuff like that happens every day.
It happens all the time. But you just got to take that time.
But when you pull, when you just go, hi, I'm Officer Brian. I'm here because you're speeding. Give me your license. Here's your ticket. Like, come on, man. Like, obviously,
I'd say probably 90% of the cars I pull over, I don't even give a ticket to.
I could count how many tickets I've written. I'm gonna stop you if you're going too fast. If you're doing something, if you're doing a traffic infraction that puts the public at risk or yourself at risk, or headlights, taillights, I stop those. Yeah, I do. But I'm not I'm not coming in and hammering. Okay, hey man, I stopped you. Do you know about this? Slow down, change your headlight, change your taillight, get back on the road. Boom.
Yeah, because
now if I stop you again tomorrow and you're going, you're speeding still, we might have a different conversation.
But I have never given a equipment defect. I've never given a ticket unless it's been with an arrest or something like that.
Yeah, I just don't agree with the theory that writing tickets is the definition of policing. Because, come on, we all live in today's economy.
When it comes to traffic, the only thing I've written tickets for is speed. pretty much. Like
Right.
I'd say 98 to 99% of the tickets I've written for traffic has been just speed.
Right.
Everything else, it's like, yo, man, get your headlight fixed, get your tail light fixed. Like it's crazy to me that cops in California and shit be writing tickets for like exhaust, and people ask me that all the time. I'm like, dude, I live in Kansas. Every single truck is loud, dude.
Yeah.
Like, what do you want me to do? It's like that'd be like pulling over cars for going one over.
Right. Like, yeah, there's reasons we can stop you.
Yeah, it's
But,
all legal stops.
Right. But I'm
But
not going to write you a ticket for every reason that I stop you.
and I think most of the reason why we stop, I don't know about everybody else, but like if I'm stopping a tag light, tint, brake lights and stuff like that. Okay, brake lights and headlights are excluded because that's actually a safety thing. But I don't write tickets for it. Usually I'm just like, but anything else like tail lights and stuff like that, like I'm doing those stops for interdiction and stuff. Like I'm trying to make contact with the driver, talk to the driver.
Which is, I mean, the Supreme Court, you know, it's been ruled that pretextual stops are legal.
Yeah.
All these little small, as everyone says, petty traffic infractions. Yeah, some of them are petty. But
yeah, I mean, no doubt they're petty.
How do you catch these, you know, human smugglers or these drug smugglers, or, you know, you stop this car and there's someone tied down that's been kidnapped? Like, hey, petty stops are how those get picked up.
I think probably 3 out of like my last 5 DUIs were just because of a pretextual stop, not even like a driving emotion or something like that. Like,
which, I mean,
you were with me on that. The window
you don't
tint?
have a whole lot of jurisdiction to just follow someone around. You know what I mean? You got less than a mile from one end to the other, so it's not like you can just keep following them.
Yeah, it's not like I have forever, which I can try, but no. So, and that's not just me. I mean, I know for a fact that there's some type of statistic out there that's how many pretextual stops catch impaired drivers or blah blah blah, et cetera, et cetera. But I don't know. It just blows my mind how many things can be misconstrued by public and other officers. It's actually crazy.
Yeah, I mean, hey, I'll be honest. Like sometimes if I stop someone and I know, but you know, I know I'm going to give them a warning or whatever it is.
Yeah.
And I'm like, hey, this is why I stopped. Like window tint, for example. If I stop you for a window tint, it's a violation. It's actually a misdemeanor in Kansas. So yeah, you can be stopped. But I get the question a lot. Should I take it off? I'm like, honestly, dude,
I don't care.
You might not ever be stopped again for this, to be honest with you.
I pull people over like, yeah, I've never been stopped for this before.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll go through like, yeah, it's
like, well, you're not going to
all around. It's this and that. It's meant for. And,
make your choice.
Yeah, I'm all like, you might be stopped. I'm not going to give you a ticket for it, but obviously you're not impaired. There's not a bazooka in here I'm worried about. Like, you know what I'm saying? There's not pipe bombs or something. So you're good to go, buddy. I don't really care.
Right.
There's so many small things like that, like insurance. Can't you guys just run the tag and see I have insurance? It's like,
depends on the
yes
state.
And no. Like it just doesn't work. Somebody commented on a video, was all like, what'd they say? Something about, I could see you doing that for probable cause. Like if you had probable cause for a big drug bust or something, checking their insurance. I'm like, what does that even mean? You know what I'm saying? Like what? The statute pretty much says like you have to have proof of valid insurance on you.
Right, you have to provide that at the time of stop.
Yeah. Because if you get in a wreck or something like that and you don't have insurance on you, you know, they could sue you or whatever it may be, or if you don't have insurance on your vehicle at all. So the statute's like, you need to have it on you, basically, so you can exchange information when you get in a traffic accident. And we're checking to make sure you have it in the vehicle for those reasons. It's not just because we want to check if you have insurance for funsies. And, you know, if we did that, then yeah, we would just check the tag. It's a big deal, you know.
Yeah, but a lot of times you can't even check the tag until it's
and like
insurance. So it doesn't.
I said 90% of the time, like, I can't even tell. And most of the time, it's like when they bought it. You know, it's not even.
And it's, you know, it depends on the state and their system. I mean, there's just so much to it, but yeah.
I mean, imagine getting hit. You did. Well, no, I think he ended up having
He had insurance. Yeah.
But it's a hassle. Like when you first find out that the person that hit you. And
he didn't have it at the time of the accident. And the officer told me that. And the first thing that went through my mind, I'm like, great. Like,
yeah, because now, like, yeah, you can sue him
he didn't have the money.
But at the end of the day, like, how much are you really going to get
Right.
from him? And then you got to go through all that hassle and legal fees to
Right.
sue him and stuff like that. Like, you know, it'd be awesome if somebody like super rich did that and didn't have insurance. But most of the time, people who are hitting you that don't have insurance, you know, honestly, not judging nobody, but probably don't have a lot of money or something like that. And that's why they're not paying for insurance in the first place. So, yeah, that would suck. That would be a hassle. That's like my nightmare. Somebody hit me with no insurance. Oh my god,
no
dude.
kidding, dude. I was freaked out when it happened.
It's a big deal
because he told me, and I'm like, no way. I'm like, this can't be real. Like, you just totaled my car. You know, I had to go to the hospital the next day.
Medical bills, your car, all that stuff. It's just, it's messed up. But yeah, small stuff like that the public and other officers, not other officers, but the public kind of don't really know about, and then judge us for it. You know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah, I mean,
oh, it's so small. Like, can't you guys just look at it on your tag? Blah 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 blah. And so, like, man, if you just took 2 seconds to like actually ask us or something,
push the blame onto the statute. Hey, I've heard you push blame onto other people. And
oh yeah, I love pushing blame. Pushing blame is
hey man, sorry, but I got to take you to jail.
Yeah,
department requires it.
Yeah, Chief told me to, and I told Chief that the other day. I said, "Hey man, blame goes up, shit rolls down. I get it, but don't get mad."
I'm using that to my full advantage.
Yeah, I'm using that to my full advantage, man. But I don't know. He's weird. He likes it. He likes being blamed for things. He likes people hating him or something. I don't know, but yeah, it's funny. I'm sure we've been on here for quite a while.
Yeah, we did pretty good.
I know that before we cut off, we were at about 30 minutes already. I don't know how long we just talked there.
Yeah.
But good news before we end it. TikTok's being heard by the Supreme Court.
I know. I saw that. I don't know where you got your information for previously, but
that was before they got heard by the Supreme Court. So right now I'm in good spirits. Anyways, what were you saying?
I was just gonna close it off. Getting good views. We're moving forward with the clothing brand.
Yep.
Just waiting on the last tweaks of the design. Had some technical difficulties come up, I guess you could say. Beside that, where, you know, the podcast had lots, you know, I don't know, 200 views or so, which is solid for first actual video on there, not just a short.
Yeah. And if you guys have any questions or something like that, or want us to answer something, feel free to leave it in the comments.
Join the Discord.
Join the Discord. You know, hey, we want to hear you guys talk about this.
Or just DM us.
Yeah.
You know? We're people. We'll reach back out to you.
Yeah, it's not like we're celebrities or nothing. I got literally nothing but time. So I answer pretty much all of my DMs on TikTok and Instagram and all that stuff. So,
but yeah, streaming on YouTube, Apple Podcasts, Spotify.
YouTube for the
Audible.
Visual, and then obviously Spotify and Apple Podcasts for just the voice. But yeah, clothing brands coming soon, so stay tuned for that. Go to Badge Banter TikTok. If you guys want updates on that, just posted one today. Obviously, not when this is going to be probably aired, but a couple days ago. And yeah.
The other thing, stay tuned for the podcast. We've got some big names coming up on them.
Yeah, I've already had people reach out, and I've reached out to some people. So, obviously, they're probably not going to be here with us. But still, I mean, starting out second episode, we've got people with, you know, a pretty large following, and you know, it'd be good to hear perspective from other cops and other people. You know, yeah, I just actually reached out to somebody today, not the same person, but yeah, so that'd be interesting in the future. So yes, please stay tuned because we plan on keeping this going, and as long as it keeps growing, you know, something we'll be doing. So
keeps growing,
and like we said last episode, things will get better. Equipment will get better, all that type of stuff. So I'm sure this is probably better than the last episode. I probably guarantee it.
Yeah, it wasn't too bad. I mean, beside the rant going back and forth about equipment, but
that's overall a genuine thing.
I think this was the same thing though. You know, started off a little slow and then we kind of picked it up. So we'll get the hang of it. Appreciate you all for watching. You know, make sure you like, comment, subscribe, share it to all your friends.
Yeah.
This helps us grow.
Yeah, if you're watching this, please like the video, comment something. It just helps
with the algorithm,
us, so.
helps get us pushed out there. So, like I said, yeah, drop a comment, let us know how you guys liked it, and we'll catch you guys on the next episode.
Peace out. All right, now get a close up on your feet. I didn't even notice your feet were out the whole time.
You can see my feet.
You're so worried.